and 4. The battle is on. It's going to be too close to call side by side. Long Joe gets it. Oh, we got contact. We got flips. We got big wrecks here going back to the front because we're racing back to the line.
William Page with the victory.
Looking for second here.
Musa's gonna.
Oh, he's gonna use that apron.
He's gonna use the apron.
They're gonna be side by side. Coming off the corner. Boy, back to the inside. It's gonna be a drag race to the line. Musa gets it.
Tom Musa, where did he come from?
We're trying to close the gap. He's gonna get to the bumper. Oh, just barely did not make it. And coming off of turn 4, Jeff Stekenis is gonna win it at Dover.
Before I wrap things up here in this segment, your thoughts on the type of race we're going to see tonight? And I would have to agree.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to tonight's feature presentation of the Hobo Racing Truck Series live on JTN from Dover. As always, I'm your host, Joe Twansky. Alongside me tonight, well, tonight's another classic rendition of the Joe and Joe Show. It's Mr. Joseph Weaver.
Yep, Joe, got a cup of Joe up for everybody tonight. Hope everybody's having a good night. Had a good day of racing. Had a good Sunday. Ready for some good racing here at Hobo from the Monster Mile.
Monster night of racing, a monster week of racing here on JTN, getting kicked off with Hobo Racing Truck Series action here on a Sunday night. Gonna be a fun time tonight, Weaver. Folks at home, this is your Circle B Diecast race preview presented by our friends at Circle B Diecast. Remember to use our code JTN at checkout for free shipping on your order of $20 or more. 120 laps around here, Weaver, 120 miles. Doesn't sound like a lot, but here at Dover, you really have this track is really conductive of good passing.
Yeah, Joe, one of my favorite tracks. It's a really grueling track. You're going to be racing the drivers hard in these high-banked, fast speed corners for a 1-mile track, but you're also going to be racing that monster. Miles is going to be out to get you at every corner here.
Now, Miles the monster, like, is he a friendly monster? Is he an unfriendly monster? Like, what are we thinking?
Well, the person that ends up winning this race is probably going to tell you that he's pretty friendly, but about everybody else in the field, they'll probably tell you a different story. He's going to be rubbing off them tires with this hard concrete surface. He's going to be coming up on you with that wall out of turn 2 and 4 really fast. He's a monster that's going to battle you all race. You beat him plus all the competitors on the field.
Yeah. So Miles might be my friend tonight if I win, but probably not my friend if I'm not sitting there in victory lane.
Probably not.
Okay. You get a pretty cool trophy when you win here at Dover, too, at the little Miles the Monster statue that can hold the diecast car. But 70 degrees, it's a concrete racetrack. The heat build up with it being a 70-degree night, day, whatever you want to call it here, should be okay. Again, really conducive of good racing tonight on JTN. So glad you're joining us. Make sure if you haven't already, you drop a like on the video and subscribe. You see those qualifying results starting to creep across the top of your screen. We'll read those off for you once it's complete. It looks like qualifying has completed. So Weaver, I think I'm going to take this off your plate tonight. I think I'm going to take the folks at home through the starting lineup.
Sounds good, Joe.
Row number 1, always a threat to win these Truck Series races. On the pole, it's going to be Herman Reese in the 73 with Josh Boyer on the outside. Row number 2, going to be Keith McLean and Mark DeSenza. Row 3, comprised of the 9 of Jeff Fugate and 85 of Ricky Bumbalo. Row 4, Ron Simpson and Rich Knappick. With row number 5, rounding out your top 10, Tom Mosa and the 7 of the 00, Gary Jackson. Row number 6 going to be DJ Hinsky and Harry Kodian in the 14 and 13 and 11th and 12th. Steve Rubino and Jeff Stekenis rolling off on row number 7. Row 8 going to be Duke Sorensen and Ryan Johnson with row 9, Larry D and Dan Rubino. Those first 9 rows all taking times. No. I messed up the rows there somewhere. I apologize. Anyways, rolling off in 19, it's going to be Rod Weston, Mike Hal Grimson in the 62 and 20th, 21st Mopar, and then Andre Monjan rounding out your field here tonight of 22 race trucks.
Strong field tonight, Joe. 22 trucks, 120 miles. Gonna be a long, hard race tonight.
Going to be a long, hard race tonight indeed, Weaver. Got a couple trucks that we're missing right now, so we're going to try to see if we can get those in before the race starts. Want to make sure all those liveries get shown to all the folks at home. Weaver, you're able to see the 19 and the 62, correct?
Check on that. I got the 19. We got to go on the 62 here, Joe.
All right. Always like to make sure we can show off those beautiful paint schemes on these trucks. Always a good job done by the folks here at Hobo. Make sure we can see those now. 62. And there's 19 mellow yellow colors for Rod Weston here tonight.
Big mellow yellow fan in this household. What are your thoughts on the drink, Joe?
Mellow yellow's pretty good. It's hard to find. That's the biggest problem I have with it, right? It's really hard to find mellow yellow. See here, Cody and Jeff Fugate battling right now in practice. This was your Hobo Racing Truck Series race preview presented by our friends at Circuit Diecast. Remember to use that code JTN and check out for free shipping on your order of $20 or more. Tonight, it might be another one of those classic Hobo Racing battles between Herman Reese and Josh Boyer Weaver. I know you don't this first time calling one of these races, but I know you're a long-time watcher of the races we've done here with Hobo Racing. Those two names, everyone that's tuned into one of these races knows those two drivers and how well they do on these high grip, or not high grip, but high tire wear racetracks.
Yeah, Joe's seen some great battles at him. If we're looking back at the qualifying speeds tonight, not even 1,000 separating the two, or 100 rather. Only a couple thousand separating them on the timesheet for qualifying. Two very strong trucks. Like you said, tire wear is going to come into play here. Who's going to manage their stuff? Who's going to be there on that long run? A lot of factors are going to go into their battle tonight, but the speed seems pretty similar if we're basing it off practice and qualifying times.
Couple wrecking there on the back straightaway. That's Steve Urbino and Hal Grimson in the 62. Apologize if we're saying that wrong. There's Jeff Stekenis in the 31. Had a great run going in Las Vegas last time we were here with the trucks at Hobo Racing with a night that got cut short. Sometimes Weaver, you do pitch strategy, you maybe make a miscalculation, get yourself further back in the pack, and you get taken out in someone else's junk.
Yeah, there's always cons to every move you can make on a racetrack, especially when it comes to those strategy calls where it might put you towards the back for a little bit. You never know what's going to happen before you can really see the upside to that call.
And that's the big thing, right? You want to make sure if you have a fast truck, you're not taking yourself out of this race here tonight. If you're one of our top qualifiers, you know, with it, Herman Reese, Josh Boyer on the front row, you got a really good pit selection, of course, up towards the front end of pit lane. Got a really fast truck underneath you. So making sure that you don't put yourself at a disadvantage, take yourself out of a race, or put yourself in a position where you have to make the rebound, have to make up for some strategy gaffes. Always very, very important.
Going in hand with that, you talk about pit stalls here. This pit road is notorious for catching drivers off around a 35 mile per hour pit speed limit, a very hard pit road to get down off that high banking and get onto. I expect to see some problems there if we have green flag pit stops or even some speeding happening under yellow.
Trucks being put on the grid on the pit lane will be racing momentarily. We now wait for tonight's command.
Drivers, start your engines!
As you hear the command to get these truckers fired up. 22 doing battle here tonight from the Monster Mile. To be Herman Reese rolling off from position number 1 with Josh Boyer in this 41 Rocky Boots Ford to his outside. Then it's Keith McLean in that 28 Busch Ice Ford with Mark DeSenza in the 33. Rounding out your top 5, Jeff Fugate in engine number 9. 120 laps once again here tonight, folks. Dover has been oh so kind to us, providing some great racing here with Hobo over the last couple of years. No doubt tonight going to be more of the same. Herman Reese looking for another victory in the trucks. Always quick, always oh so fast in his Cadillacs. Weaver, they drive really nice, really smooth, and he's doing it in luxury here tonight behind the wheel of that 73 truck. Pace truck going to be pulling down onto the pit lane here. Watch out. Watch those stories coming off of pit road throughout the night because it's a tricky one. Herman Reese now with control as the fans are on their feet, coming off of turn number 4. As we take the green flag, and we're underway here from Dover.
Not the best start there by Josh Boyer on that outside line. Gonna check him up there, get Keith McLean up into second.
Boyer going to fall all the way back to 4th, coming off a turn number 2. Truck rather hard to the outside wall. It's Gary Jackson in the 00. No caution, smoking down the back straightaway. We'll take a look at it if we get the chance. Truckers single file down the front straightaway. And we stay green. Let's get you a replay of that incident. Might need a little more than just Gorilla Glue to get that truck fixed. Here you see it coming through the center of turns 1 and 2. Gonna get loose contact with Tom Musa. Jackson hard to the outside wall. That truck goes up and smokes. Those Ram motors usually a little, or pretty tough, Weaver, but hitting the outside wall like that definitely gonna be a recipe for disaster for any of these truckers tonight.
Yeah, it's a tough hit there, Joe. Tough way to start this race. Turn 1, lap 1. Just got a little loose. When you get out here on cold tires, it definitely can do that to you.
Herman Reese still leads about a truck length over Keith McLean there in second in the 28. Jeff Fugate further on back in 3rd, but keeping within distance. Fugate always really good here at Dover. His name is always towards the top of the pylon when the night ends. Definitely be one to watch tonight.
Dover's one of those tracks that I've noticed through the years. You can get those surprise people that are just really good at it. You never know. Some people really good at this style of racing. Just drive it in deep, hook that bottom line, and sail it off the corners.
We're single file throughout, Weaver, and that has to be a welcome sight for a lot of the crew chiefs up and down pit lane.
Yeah, they all know it's early to be tearing up these trucks. Sadly, the 00 already had that problem, but nobody else wants to be packing it up this early.
Reese just doing what he does. Keith McLean starting to reel him in a little bit. Got a good run that time down the back straightaway. Not able to capitalize on it. This time down into 3. As we watch this battle for the lead.
I can tell you from my times racing with Keith McLean, he can hook the bottom at racetracks better than almost anybody else, even at tracks where you really shouldn't even be able to. He can do it. And that's something you're going to have to do here at Dover. Hold it down on that apron almost. Get that good run off the corner.
Are you remembering a race at the old New Jersey Motor Speedway?
That I am, Joe.
That night was crazy. No one could hold the bottom like driver number 28.
Coming up on the lap car 00 here off the pit road. Good to see him back out on track.
Obviously just an oil line breaking loose, right?
Yeah, you know, you get a hit like that, you might lose a couple radiator hoses. Maybe just slap a new radiator in there, get it back out.
That was a pretty quick radiator change, but you say so.
You know, they got it all in the crash cart these days.
And they are still allowed to use the crash cart, too, on these trucks, aren't they?
Yeah, thankfully we don't abide by all those newfangled NASCAR rules.
Crash
here at
clock
Hobo.
and...
Yeah. We drive these trucks so they can't drive no more.
Like real Americans do with their pickup trucks on the farms, right?
Absolutely. Top 3 with the slightest gap to Josh Boyer, Mark DeCenza, rounding out your top 5 before you get a big gap.
Hey, Josh Boyer, Mark DeCenza did not get off to good starts here tonight on that outside lane on the initial start. Have been able to reel in these top 3. Have to wonder if they're maybe pushing their stuff a little bit. If the guys in front of them, as you see Jeff Fugate get a little loose there coming off of turn number 2. Have to wonder if maybe they're pushing their stuff, trying to run these guys back down, or the guys in front might be saving just a little bit.
The strategy I always like to employ here at Dover is I like to get behind somebody, and I kind of just run their pace. Usually it's a pace that I know I'm saving a little bit of tire. Always want to be thinking about those tires here at Dover.
So top 5 all within a blanket, then Ricky Bumbalo acting as a buffer state back to the rest of the top 10. Schnappik, Ron Simpson, DJ Hinsky, Harry Kodian, Steve Rubino in the 07, Jessica Kennis, 31. More splintered Rod Weston to the inside of Larry D. And make that pass coming off the corner. 28 into the outside wall. Got now some damage on the right rear.
Another thing here at Dover, by the end of this race, I don't know if you can look at any truck and not see some damage on that right rear.
These things, they get really tight coming off the corner, huh?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. So you might have a little battle here for second. Going back to third here. Fugate up to second.
Starting to see that 28 maybe getting a little loose there on the bottom. Are you seeing the same thing I'm seeing?
Yeah, it's definitely looking like he's having a couple problems these laps. A track like this, you really want to get into a rhythm, and once you get out of that rhythm, it takes a couple laps to get back in, and that's where you're going to find yourself losing a lot of time. It can really keep you out of that rhythm when you have drivers passing you. He gets a big bobble there going into 3.
Josh Boyer being really careful trying to find a way around this 28 as we're under caution for the first time tonight. 188 around on the back straightaway. Let's get you the replay. Larry D coming off of turn number 2. He looks like makes contact. Mopar kind of hits the apron there in that 43 STP dodge. Up the track into the 188. What do you see there, Weaver?
You know, like we were talking about before, track just tightening up there off 2. It's a tough area of the track. So yeah, everybody gonna come down here, get them some fresh rubbers and that fresh Sunoco racing fuel.
Simpson and Weston both gonna stay out. Try to lead themselves a lap. As you said, Weaver, everyone down on the pit lane. Try not to get yourself stuck in your box. Really tight pit road here. Ooh, a little bit of contact coming off the pit lane between the 28 and 9. But Herman Reese able to win the race off the pit lane. Jeff Fugate, Keith McLean, Josh Boyer, Mark DeSenza, your top 5 stage, your top 5 Ricky Bumbledo almost with a big accident there coming off the pit lane. Our first caution tonight gives us the chance to say thank you folks for tuning in. See a bunch of you in chat. And Judy McKenzie, Hobo Racing, the big Hobo Racing fans, thanks for tuning in here tonight. No More Sanity as well. Julian Wilson, KJ, fresh off a victory at Lime Rock this past Thursday. Magoo also tuning in, so a lot of familiar faces. Can't thank you enough for tuning in here tonight on a Sunday night. Joining us on JTN.
Heard you had a good one there at Lime Rock, Joe.
And I had it all to myself, Weaver. It was great.
Oh, man.
Now, that was a fantastic one, folks. If you get the chance, go back and at least check out the final restart for that race and dash to the end. It was a fantastic race. Ricky J once again coming up short there with the Bomb Squad Racing Cup Series. They'll be back in action this Thursday night from Richmond at 9:05 p.m. Eastern, so you're not going to want to miss that. Got a full slate of racing actually coming up at you this week, including tomorrow night's TMP Late Model Championship race from Phoenix. Weaver, we're gonna, right at the conclusion of this race, we got to get on a plane to get out there to the Desert Diamond in Phoenix.
Coast to coast, baby.
Then I'll be heading back to Atlanta. You get to go do some California dreaming throughout the rest of the week, but I'll be going back with Maverick Cup Series on Tuesday from Atlanta at 8:30 p.m. and then All-Star Racing Cup Series action. Ricky will be joining me for both those races. All-Star at Texas on Wednesday, of course. Those 3 races and much, much more coming up live right here on JTN. Ray Jackson going to get a lap back. Was the only truck a lap down.
Gonna bring it up before we had that yellow there, Joe, but it's always seemed to me here at Dover, you know, it's a pretty even track, pretty symmetrical, but I feel like these guys get a lot tighter, a lot closer to that wall coming out of 2 than they do out of 4.
I think so. Reference points, I think, are a big thing, right? When you're coming off of 4, there's that huge grandstand there. When you're coming off of 2, you got a bridge, you got all this different stuff, so you're really able to nail where you want to jump back on that throttle through the corner in turns 3 and 4, more so maybe than 1 and 2, or maybe over or underestimate it. But that's a very good point to make, because it definitely feels like that's where most of the incidents occur, and we've already kind of seen that here tonight. Herman Reese with control, single file restart here. Jeff Fugate behind him. Green flag, we're back underway here from Dover. Top 3 stay underneath a blanket. Josh Boyer once again does not have the restart gear, it would appear, in that 41.
Looks like he might have spun the tires just a little bit there, maybe even looking back from that first initial start of the race, looking to become a trend here with Josh Boyer. If you're starting behind him, maybe you start a little lane lower. Tell you what, that was a well-timed caution for our driver, the number 28, Keith McLean. He was really starting to slide around those corners towards the end of that run. I'm sure he welcomed some fresh rubbers. The yellow is back out.
What for?
Looks like the 188 got around in 1 and 2.
And the night goes from bad to worse for Larry D.
You know, these big trucks, they already lack the downforce, but once you get that back end all scrunched up like he had it, that spoiler's all messed up, you really ain't getting the downforce you need to be going through these corners. Just gets out from under them.
And this track a lot faster than it looks, right?
Absolutely. You're carrying close to 130 through these corners most of the time. It's very high speed.
So I have to think not going to be a lot of takers here on the pit lane.
Maybe not towards the front, but if I'm in the back half of the field, you never know when an extra lap or two fresher tires might come into play when you get a long run.
Or just the extra fuel, right?
That too.
Folks, can't thank you enough for tuning in to JTN's coverage of the Hobo Racing Truck Series here from Dover. Working the second caution of the night, Herman Reese still your leader. I'd like to remind you that new in 2022, it's JTN2, your home for all of our non-live motorsports content here on JTN currently, with the room to hopefully expand into more live streams eventually down the road. But go check out JTN2 now. That's our new home for the Fake Racers podcast, Disqualified podcast, some diecast reviews, and much, much more again over on JTN2. Search it right here on YouTube.com, or you can also go to our community discussion board on our JTN channel page, as well as it should be linked down in the video description below. Again, that's JTN2, new in 2022, your home for all the non-live JTN content that you've grown to love here over the last year. It's now over on JTN2. It's not missing, Weaver, it's just we gave it a new home.
Yeah, gonna have a special edition coming up soon, I hear.
Of what?
Maybe not special edition, but a little different look for the Fake Racers podcast.
Oh, yes, indeed. And, guest host Tommy Bordeaux this week, stepping in for me, because we're, like I said, we're going to be out in Phoenix tomorrow night, so I'm not going to be able to be back at the JTN Central Studios for the podcast.
I haven't had a chance to visit the Central Studios yet, and you haven't told me where are these located at?
Looking at Steve Rubino's 07 Maxwell House truck here. Good looking paint scheme on that one, wouldn't you say, Weaver?
Yeah, I think it looks pretty good.
Yeah, looks pretty good. Hey, you know what else was pretty good?
What's that?
You made it another year around the sun, buddy.
I did 23 times strong now.
Happy belated birthday.
I appreciate it, Joe.
Joseph Weaver, 23 years old, yesterday, March 26th. That was about the most awkward way I could do that. You know that, right?
That's what I expect from you, Joe.
Getting ready to go back green here. Herman Reese with control, Jeff Fugate, Keith McLean, Josh Boyer, Mark DeCenzo, your top five. Ricky Bumbleow's been knocking on the door back there in sixth in that 85 truck. Keys for this restart, Weaver.
Keys for this restart, you just got to get going. And that green flag drops. You got to get on the gas and hope them tires stick. Tires are going to be real cool now. When you pit, tires normally heated up a little bit in the pit stall. Come out, they're not going to be as hot this restart as they were last time.
Gold tires key for this restart. Herman Reese with control waits for the green flag to be dropped. There it is. We're back underway here from Dover.
Josh Boyer again with the little spin of the tires there on that restart.
I just don't think they have the restart gear in it.
No, it's not looking like it, Joe. Going to give their top three some breathing room here. Give them a chance to battle it out, hopefully.
Jeff Fugate keeping close to Herman Reese. Keith McLean falling back a little bit. Caution's out. What could this one be for? Do you see anything, Weaver?
Nothing sticking out. It looked like the 44 of Dan Rubino might have had some of those famous internet issues, but I'm not sure that would bring out a yellow.
Yeah. So I guess we'll call it a mythical debris yellow.
Yeah, all Jacques' debris at it again.
Like Dan's still on track. There you see him in that 44, but he's kind of doing the little disappearing act.
No, I think you'd be lying if you said you raced multiple times in NR 2003 and said you never had an internet issue. We all go through them eventually.
Oh, yeah. They're frustrating, though. They're always frustrating. Coming up on the quarter completion mark of this race. Herman Reese still your leader.
Pace truck driver really taking his time to get up and pick up this field.
He definitely took his time. Weaver, what'd you think of that race today? I know the boys on the Fake Racers podcast are going to talk about it this week over on JTN2, and I'd love to hear some input. Welcome in, Barbara. Glad to see you. Glad to see you here. But love to hear folks in chat's input on the race today. But what did you think?
You know, Joe, I think it was another good race from this brand new next gen car. I think it performed well. We saw some good racing throughout the field and at the front. When we got down to the ending, you know, we had a couple of yellows, got an overtime finish, and they got some tough racing there at the end. You know, they don't put fenders on these cars without reason. Some might use them a little too much, but I think AJ put it well in his interview. At the end of the day, the person making that move is going to have to look at themselves in the mirror. And, you know, they did what they had to do, and they're the person that has to live with that move.
Yeah, I think I know there'll be a lot of folks talking about Ross kind of, you know, maybe being a little aggressive there, pushing. And hopefully that was a spoiler alert for folks that we were going to talk about the race. But Ross pushing AJ and stuff, and AJ bumped Ross out of the way. We all know Ross Chastain's going to be really aggressive in those moments. You come to expect it, and I think he had some post-race comments with the media talking about kind of how he's, you know, he knows he's hurt his relationship with AJ over the years from doing stuff like that, but he's in a position where he's been on the podium the last 3 weeks, right? And this was his race to lose.
Yes.
So, I don't know. I think all's fair. You know, if Bowman's not there, I don't think AJ ends up wrecked either. Which, you know, it's not Bowman's fault. It's more on Ross still in that case, but, you know.
I don't know if I'd say that. I think Bowman's about the only thing that kept him from going directly right off the course in the left-hand corner.
I think AJ would have had room to actually save the car, because AJ got spun around, is what I'm saying.
Right. I understand.
But definitely frustrating for the folks over at Colleague, but a great day for Trackhouse to get their first win on Justin Marks' birthday and all that jazz. So good for them. I'm $20 richer from it, so that's cool too. So
Yeah, you make a good point, Ross. You know, he's been so close these past 3 weeks, had strong cars. I can definitely see where you're making that move with that thought process. Like, man, I've been so close. It's been right there in my grasp for weeks now.
Right.
Just go. Now's my chance to go out and get it.
Guys got a chance to go out and get it tonight. It's been Herman Reese on top all throughout this race. Green flag. We're back underway here. 33 of 120. Josh Boyer, a little bit of a restart there. Still lost some time to those top three. Rest of the field making their way off the corner. Hodian in the 13 trying to find a way around Hinsky. Not able to do it this time. That fast orange GMC Sierra doing a good job right now up inside the top 10. Top three, though, still all underneath a blanket.
Jeff Fugate been staring at the back end of Herman Reese for a long time. Maybe when we get down to the end of this race, he might think now's his chance to go out and get it. Maybe now he thinks now he looks low going into turn 1.
Well, you called it. He's going to go
Oh,
around.
no.
Fugate around in turn 1 hard into the outside wall. Caution is out.
Oh, we got a spinner behind him as well.
Oh, that's hot. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Ugh. Weaver, that is not what you like to see. Okay, going for it on the bottom, goes for a spin into the outside wall. Further on back, 62 slowing down, gonna go around 2, gets into Mopar there, and gets back to the 9. Rod Weston gonna get collected in it. It's like the 19's no worse for wear, same with the 9. Little soda on soda action there.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Looked like the 9 of Jeff Fugate there just got in the corner a little bit too hot, went out from under him, and we see it a lot here. Cars trying to get woed down, easy to get loose on you.
On board with the 19, you'll see the 9 around at the top of your screen. Was the 62 Weston doing a good job trying to stay out of it. All his evasive maneuvers there at the end, nowhere to go. On board with Mopar in the 43. Actually, let's go on board with on board with this Rocky Boots 41 and Josh Boyer down into the corner. See the 9 getting loose. Round he goes. Well, your 4th caution of the night.
Unfortunate series of events there for the 9 car. Goes from challenging for the lead to wreck, hit by 2 other vehicles. Not much they could do in their defense. This is a tough incident. Something I noticed here, something that people at home might have noticed, a lot of drivers, to avoid that wreck, electing to go up to the high side. So we got here at Dover, we call this a self-cleaning racetrack. We got banking all around. Trucks are going to want to slide down that banking whenever they wreck. So usually it's a better idea kind of go high around the wreck than it is to go low.
Give yourself some space, right?
Yeah, there's more likely the lane will open up top than it is up down low.
So Herman Reese still your leader. Keith McLean now in 2nd. Josh Boyer, Mark DeSenza, and Ricky Bumbalo now your top 5 after Jeff Fugate goes for a little blooper. We'll be back green next time at the line.
You know, Joe, I kind of want to toss that wreck up to old Miles the Monster reaching out and grabbing that 9 car. The way these corners are set up, they really lull you into a false sense of security that you can really send it in that corner, but if you overdrive it just the smallest bit, it's that easy just to loop it around.
I agree, Barbara. I like it when we're running green flag laps. Just a little, what'd you call this? Little spell of incidents.
Little spell, all saying I always love to use when I'm racing NR. Cautions breed cautions.
I think that's just a good racing saying, isn't it?
It has been proven proven true many a times in the real world as well.
You're ready to go back. Green flag racing. Herman Reese with control. Little wheel spin there out of the leader. Wheel spin on row 2 with Keith McLean. We're back underway. There was a lot of wheel spin that time, all throughout the field.
A lot of these drivers have gone through a couple heat cycles on these tires now, a couple restarts, a couple laps running to green even. Just how quickly these tires can get chewed up.
So we saw on that initial green flag run, those first 20 laps, Weaver, that the 28 really started slipping about 15 laps into the run. What does he have to do this time?
I think he's going to have to bury that in his mind, and he's got to keep it in mind when we're running a long green run. You know, we haven't really got that close to that lap count under green yet. But if this run goes long here, he's going to have to be thinking about that. Maybe save the tires a little bit so he can last a little bit longer in that run. I think the magic number you're going to want to be hitting on tires here is around 30, 35, maybe even 40 laps. But if you're starting to lose it after 15, you're going to be in problems.
Are you seeing Josh Boyer, Mark DeSenza starting to reel these guys back in? So rebounding from that mid-grade restart is the 28 really loose there coming off of 2, really loose coming off the corner. They need to do something to tighten that truck up. What can they do?
You know, it's a tough one, Joe. You're struggling out here for grip. There's not too much you can do. Throw a little bit of wedge at it, but you're really limited to the adjustments you after you start this race.
Josh Boyer making the pass there for second. Not a lot you can do too, Weaver. We talked about it before the race. You can't do anything with the setup, so it's all going to have to come down to how you drive the thing.
Yeah, Joe, if that's the case, then you're really just going to have to change your driving style. That's probably the hardest thing you can do as a driver.
Saw Josh Boyer go on through for second to that 41 Ford, now the trailing Ford. So Keith McLean just having some issues. Maybe something with the steering ratio, maybe he adjusted that, played with that a little bit, because that's the one thing that these drivers can really move around and fix, or change in these fixed setup races.
Yeah, steering ratio can change a lot in the handling of a vehicle. I always like to run a lower steering ratio. Some people like it real high. It also changes based on what you're choosing to control your vehicle with. I know there's probably some people in this field using a controller versus a wheel, maybe even a keyboard. I'm not too sure if we have anybody on a keyboard in this field, but
I don't believe so.
a lot of see Josh Boyer getting on the wall a little bit there out of 2. Seen a lot of light kisses on the wall this run.
Just a little smooch?
Just the smallest of smooches. You just want to smooch that wall. You can't start making out with it. That's when you get problems.
That is definitely when you get the crew chief yelling at you. So Josh Boyer trying to run down Herman Reese. Mark DeSenza back there in 4th with Keith McLean in 3rd. Still, he's front four pretty quick. Is McLean going to get a good run this time off the corner? Boyer had some issues, Weaver.
Looked like he might have got loose there in 3 and 4. Going to lose 2 spots here, put him back in 4th spot. Mark Senza moves up into 3rd.
So Herman Reese now starting to stretch his lead ever so slightly. Gonna be putting the 00 another lap down here. Gary Jackson now gonna be 2 laps down in that Gorilla Glue Dodge. Again, lap 1 incident for that team. Heavy contact to the outside wall. Testament though to the pit crew to get that thing back out on track as quick as they did.
Absolutely, only lost 5 laps.
Battle further on back between Hinsky and the 62 of Helgrimson. 62 almost goes for a spin, locks it down, saves it.
Something worth noting, that 85 Ricky Bumbalo has the fastest lap in the race, but sitting second on that tower of the fastest laps, going to be that 33 of DeCenza. Maybe he's been just saving his tires, riding around, seen him kind of picking his battles, just following drivers through when they can make a move.
And Mark DeCenza, oh so good here at Dover as well. Another one of those guys that's really, really good at the Monster Mile.
He's really been mirroring Keith McLean these past couple laps, just keeping it on his bumper, not giving him any space to breathe.
Goes DeCenza to the bottom. Big move down into 1. Gonna make the pass there through the center. 28 getting really loose. Keith McLean, he still hangs on to it somehow. Big save there from Keith McLean in that 28. Really, really fighting that truck right now.
Yeah, he only wanted to wreck it about 3 times through that corner. Gathered it up every time, though. Only losing 1 spot. Going to keep it ahead of Josh Boyer here for 3rd. For the back, got the 13 of Harry Cody and looking on the inside of Ricky Bumbalo.
Back up front, DeCenza starting to close the gap to Herman Reese for the lead.
At the laps time, DeCenza running about a half-second quicker a lap here. Some of that is going to be he's catching just the smallest bit of draft on the straightaways.
And we're halfway in this thing already, so the lap's ticking off. Now's the time where you got to start charging through this field if you maybe been playing a little possum throughout this race so far.
Yeah, and I think that's what we're seeing further towards the midfield here. Harry Codian making a charge towards the front, just Ganis behind him, following him. Steve Rubino in the 07 also in this little train that I'm seeing move up. Ricky Bumbalo following back.
And Bumbalo, you said so quick, has a good lap time on the board, but sometimes those good lap times, they're not really indicative of your long run speed. I think we're finding that out with the 85.
Yeah, so it's also tough. You get stuck on the outside here and you got a train of cars like you see in the mid-pack here. It's tough to get in that rhythm and hit a good lap time.
Ron Simpson, that Simpson Fence Company Chevrolet going to the bottom. Now Rod Weston going to look to the inside of Bumbelow for position. Weston thought about giving him a dive. Bumbelow thought about giving him a block. Looks like Weston's going to get the better of the battle there off the corner.
Josh Boyer and Keith McLean really falling off here for third and fourth, giving a nice gap to our two leaders. Descenza, though, still close to that bumper, Herman Reese.
Yeah, update on the 44. It does look like Dan Rubino is out of this race. Am I seeing that correctly, Weaver?
That would be correct. They have him listed as retired. I believe the 00 also has pulled it in and called it a day.
00 with those engine issues from the earlier incident, and Rubino with the internet issues. Then also Larry D, CCM 40 laps down, also out of this race. Hey, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Coming up on some lap traffic, our leaders, Herman Reese and Mark Descenza. Now, Weaver, fuel, what are we looking at? Are we one stop to the end at this point, most likely?
Looking at the laps left right now, if you were to pit now, I think you'd probably good on one stop. I believe they get about 40, maybe even closer to 50 laps on fuel here. Usually here at Dover, you might think about pitting before you really need the fuel for tires if you're running under green.
Right now, though, I'm thinking I want to make it to, what, lap 70 if I can go about 50 on the fuel?
I think that's a good safe number. It gives you a little
buffer?
A little buffer to play with and have some strategy on the tire call and when you want to pit. Something you can think about here with tires, that undercut, you know, if you stay out a little bit longer, you're going to be running slower lap times on old tires than somebody who's pit a little bit before you on new tires. Give them a chance to catch up, maybe.
Well, and the other thing, too, to think about is this pit lane. We talked about it in the show open, right? Very, very tricky. Very, very slow. I believe it's like 30, 40 miles per hour down pit lane here at Dover. So very slow pit lane, very narrow entry to pit lane. You got that wall that just kind of creeps up on you on the outside. You don't want to skewer yourself on it, of course. So making sure that you're conservative enough coming to the pit lane, but not overly conservative is definitely one of those big battles you have here at Dover that I don't think a lot of folks talk about.
Absolutely, and something that always scared me a little bit here at Dover isn't just the pit entry. The pit exit can get a little sketchy. You got a nice access road for most of turn 1 and 2, but when they want you to get off that access road, they really force you with a big wall there in turn 2 as the caution is out.
Caution out for the 5th time tonight. It's the 19 of Rod Weston. Engine has expired. Let's see what happened there because, boy howdy, that's a lot of damage. This kind of takes any of those strategy things out too, huh?
Yeah, Joe, I think it was what we were just talking about. Looks like the 059, Ryan Johnson, was looking to go to pit road, getting slowed up there. Might not have got his hand out to wave to the other drivers, let them know. Caused a little stack up behind him.
That's pretty frustrating, too, running that close with guys coming to the pit lane, right?
Yeah, it's a tough thing, and it's really tough at this track because the line you want to run is right there on the bottom of the track, and that's where you got to pit from. There's no really other way.
What do you put that incident on if you're being the judge?
If I'm being the judge, it's either going to be a lack of communication or a lack of seeing the communication from the drivers behind them. It's hard to tell.
Tough break for Rod Weston, who gets the worst end of it. Riding there behind Ron Simpson in the 25. 25 makes contact with the 059. Sends them both up into the outside wall. Let's go on board with Weston. Now we saw the 00 able to salvage, at least to be able to keep running with damage like this earlier. We'll see if that remains the case. Yeah, Weston just kind of caught up and it made the Made the maneuver to get away from it. Just not enough room to get away from it. They're gonna try to repair it down on the pit lane.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I'm looking here at our little text log that our drivers got, and it does look like Ryan Johnson made the signal that he was going to be pitting in. But, you know, there's a lot going on in this race truck. It might just not have seen it pop up.
Hi, Darren. Hi, Greg. Thanks for tuning in. And Rubino also tuning in. Bino, obviously not the night that they were looking for with that 44 team. Going to be looking for a better night tomorrow night as the TMP late models head to Phoenix. Coverage beginning at 8:50 p.m. Eastern time for that one, championship event. That's the Maverick Cup Series on Tuesday from Atlanta at 8:30, and the All-Star Racing Cup Series from Texas on Wednesday. Those three races and a couple more this week, all live right here only on JTN. Weaver, what did you think last week about all the great racing we had?
You know, I'm a fan of good racing, Joe, and we sure did get a lot of it last week. Look at here, I see the 25 here, Ron Simpson, has decided to call it a race after that incident. 19 still trying to get that truck fixed and off pit road.
He's off the pit lane, but he's you can see the engine block in the radiator, so not good. It looks like more it looks more like a modified, right? Isn't that what we always say at the short tracks?
Yeah, you know, and it might be just that thing. Go out here, maybe get by that 25, get the position that you can get here and park it. Maybe he'll try and run it out and hope some more people wreck. All you got to do is stay on the lead lap as well you can.
Greg, I'm going to be honest with you. If I was out there racing, they'd be running a lot more caution laps, most likely. So it's probably a good thing that I'm up here in my chair in my booth. Got Weaver up here tonight, doing a great job as always. Can't thank you folks enough for tuning in. We're over halfway in this one, coming up on the 3/4 mark.
I tell you what, Joe, looking at the front end of that 19 and Rod Wesson, really impressive, the engineering that goes into these trucks. You see the two front tires there, no drive linkage, no steering linkage at all, but the moves that we can see them make and the driving that we've seen tonight is quite impressive.
You see it right there. Once the semester's over, I'll think about it. How about that? I'll think about racing again. Getting ready to go back green. Herman Reese with control here for the restart. Here, Cody and now into second. Mark DeSenza, Josh Boyer, and Jeff Stakenis, your top five. Reese with control once again on the restart, coming to lap 76 of 120. Under 55 laps to go. 45 laps to go.
Everybody firing off pretty good there. See the 13 Harry Cody and up into second on that roundabout from that yellow. We saw him making a late charge there that last run, and that truck's really seemed to come alive here in the second half of this race.
Cody Ann seems to do that here in the Truck Series. Always a player when we come down to the end of these races. Once again, flexing some muscle in the late stages of this race. Shout out to Josh Boyer as well, getting a good restart that time. He keeps pace with his top four. The rest of the top four.
It looks like it took him a couple restarts to get it figured out, but he's been nailing these past couple.
Oh, we got a truck on the wall. Mark DeSenza, 33, into Josh Boyer. Caution is out. We'll fetch you that replay. What happened here, Weaver?
I'll tell you what, luckily there wasn't too big a contact there, but it looked like DeSenza just got into the corner and rear end got out from under him a little bit, had to check up to save it, chase it up the hill. Josh Boyer was there, both of them with a little bit of contact there. Looks to be minimal damage for them, though. Hopefully go in, get everything taped up, fixed up, and get back out there, because that was two of the favorites for this race there. Obviously, we had Herman Reese out front all race, but when we talk about people that could have gave him a fight for that win, Mark DeCenza and Josh Boyer, they were at the top of that list.
And now they'll go to the bottom of the scoring pylon after that incident. Caution number 6 on the night. Hey, some new faces up inside the top 5, though. We talked about Harry Kodian, Jeff Stickenis, Steve Rubino also up inside the top 5 now in that 07 truck. You big Maxwell House fan? You coffee drinker, Weaver?
I'm going to be honest with you. First of all, I'm not really a coffee drinker. Never been too big of a fan. But when I do, I always drink Folgers.
Oh, my goodness. He's a Mark Martin fan. Wait a minute. Weren't they both on Mark Martin's car at one point?
They could have been. I've just always preferred the taste of Folgers when I do drink coffee. Like I said, not a huge fan of the coffee.
They were both Mark Martin sponsors at some point. What the heck?
Mark liked to cover all his bases.
No kidding. Well, this truck is I don't know if you want to call it a throwback, throw forward to the old Sterling Marlin 22 Maxwell House car.
Tell you what, Joe, and this might make some people in the comments as they're watching a little upset at me, but all I need in the morning, if I gotta wake up, give me a nice ice cold cup of water, it wakes me right up.
Not a bush ice?
Not that early in the morning. Let me get my bearings about myself, get an hour under my feet being awake, and then we can start breaking out the bush ice.
Gonna be going back green with under 40 laps to go here. Once again, can't thank you folks enough for tuning in here tonight to JTN. I'm Joe. He's Joe. Here for our coverage of the Hobo Racing Truck Series. Make sure if you haven't already, drop a like on the video. It does so much to help support us. It also shows your support for Hobo Racing, as well as making sure if you're new here, you hit that subscribe button. We got all the best NR 2003 racing on the web. Some of the best videos you'll see all week are going to be live here on JTN this week, including tomorrow night's TMP Late Model Series Championship from the Phoenix Raceway. Coverage beginning tomorrow night at 8:50 p.m. Eastern Time for that one. But again, please drop those likes on the video. Again, it does so much to help support us. We appreciate you so much when you do too. We're on that road. I think we're 40 subscribers away from 1,000, Weaver. We get to 1,000, we'll do a giveaway. Tommy gets to do a special episode of the Fake Racers podcast too, talking about 2003. So, yeah. As we're going to be going back green next time by lap 83 of 120.
Getting close, so close. 40 more people. How many people we got tuned in with us right now, Joe?
We got 12 right now, is what I'm seeing.
So we got 12 right now, all them subscribed. I'd hope so. Hopefully they could go, tell a friend to subscribe. That gets us a lot closer.
Herman Reese. He wants everyone to stay in his rear view mirror throughout the rest of this race. Been the dominant truck, has led almost every lap, has led every green flag lap here tonight. Going to have hard charger Harry Kodian right behind him, and Jeff Stickenis back in third. Pace truck going to pull off, give control of this field over to engine driver number 73, Herman Reese, with control here for the restart. Come to lap 83 of 120. Back down, away we go. Green flag once again here from Dover. Keith McLean into the outside wall coming off of turn number 2.
Harry Cody in there. Giving Herman Reese a lot of room there on the restart. Gives himself a good run through 1 and 2. Gets right up on his bumper. But Herman Reese, that truck is strong. Just pulls back away from him.
Keith McLean once again getting loose through turns 1 and 2. Just keeping our eyes on this 28 truck because he has been wheeling it tonight. Has not lost it yet, but continues to teeter on that ragged edge. Up front, like you said, Harry Cody and trying to close the gap to Herman Reese for the lead.
Just Canis also staying close there in third. If anything were to happen with these top 2, he's going to be right there to pounce.
A la Alex Bowman earlier today, huh?
Absolutely. It's probably one of the best places to be on the racetrack. I always like getting that 2-for-1 special behind 2 people racing hard in front of me.
You always like getting the 2-for-1 special anywhere, right? I mean, at the store, online.
One of the best things in life, the 2-for-1 special.
2-for-1. The 50% discount, right?
I'd rather have a 2-for-1 than a 50% off.
Yeah,
it's
but if
the
it's
same thing, but it's not the same.
But then you only got to get 1 if it's 50% off, right?
Yeah, but if I'm gonna get 1, why not get 2?
See, there's some instances where I agree with you, but then there's some instances that I don't agree with you.
I can't think of one.
Now, diecast, that would be awesome to get a 2-for-1 special. We don't have that for you, but you can use our code JTN to check out at CircleBdiecast.com to receive free shipping on your order of $20 or more. Circle B Diecast is the leader in online diecast sales. Go on over now. They got IndyCar diecast, dirt racing diecast, and of course, a bunch of great NASCAR diecast, including Ross Chastain's first career Cup Series victory diecast, now on pre-order. Again, that's CircleBdiecast.com. You'll use our code JTN at checkout for free shipping on your order of $20 or more. 28 really loose there. He's going around. Caution is out once again. Keith McLean around. The back end of that truck is tore. You saw it live. We'll get you the replay.
Time everybody able to make it around them clean.
You think maybe he jumped on the brakes a little bit there? Because he definitely got a little more aggressive going into the corner than the 31 in front of him.
You know, it is very possible, Joe. Look at the replay and see if we can get some telemetry data back.
It's just weird where he lost it, but we've seen him get, again, he has been on that edge all night long, has been very loose. As everyone thought about coming down the pit lane, but they all skirt the wall. Couple takers on the pit lane, though. Back half of the field, Josh Boyer, Rich Navik also coming down. Going to be under 30 laps to go when we go back green flag racing here. Dover.
So driver that 28 is just going to take it behind the wall here. A little too much damage on that rear end. Maybe thought it was already loose. Don't want to be out there when it's even looser.
So Josh Boyer wins the race off the pit lane. Keith McLean taking his truck behind the wall. Herman Reese going to have control again on the restart. Again, folks, can't thank you enough for tuning in to JTN's coverage of the Hobo Racing Truck Series here from Dover. Been an entertaining race, to say the least, here tonight. Herman Reese still out in front. Harry Kodian in second. And Jeff Stakanis in third, with Steve Rubino and Duke Sorensen in the 59, or 59 rather, rounding out the top 5.
Oh, we've seen it a lot already. Miles the Monster, he's jumping out. He's
hungry.
making his name known.
He is hungry right now.
Doesn't matter where you're running. We've seen our leaders have trouble. We've seen cars, trucks in the back of the field have some troubles. Shows just how tough this track really is. Tell you what, I bet that 73 Herman Reese is glad he's in a Cadillac. He ain't had to worry about much. He's out here Sunday driving.
Well, he's doing it in a caddy too, right?
Yeah, he's living life in luxury right now. I'm sure he's got the stereo turned up, AC blasting.
I'm just excited for this race. Oh, big shout out, University of Michigan hockey team advancing to the Frozen Four, and the women's basketball team making their first Elite Eight. So, big shout outs there. Had to get that in.
By the skin of their teeth on that hockey game.
It was 7-4.
And probably shouldn't have even been that close if we're thinking about it, though.
It was 4-3, and then it was 7-3, and then it was 7-4.
What was it before it was 4-3, Joe?
Listen. Still won. Doesn't matter. Still won by 4. All right, getting ready to go back green. Herman Reese with control here on the restart. Harry Cody and Jeff Stakanis, Steve Rubino, and Duke Sorensen, your top 5. Wait for the flag to be dropped. There it is. We're back underway here. 94 of 120 at Dover. Field stays single out, coming off of turn number 2. Everyone keeping away from that outside wall.
Steve Rubino with a little bobble there going into 1. Going to back him up a little bit off that third place truck.
Duke Sorensen trying to find a way around him right now. Looks a little stronger. Further on back, Josh Boyer to the inside of the 62. Going to try to take Rich Napick with him.
Josh Boyer knows he's got a lot of spots to make up if he wants to go up here and finish where he was running.
Mark DeSenza starting to set up a pass on the 59 of Sorensen as well. Can't find a way around just yet. Herman Reese still leads by about a 3-car or truck length margin.
Really getting down to the meat and potatoes of this race. 25 laps to go. Got a couple trucks, faster trucks we've seen towards the front all day. Mired in the back through these cautions and pit stops.
Josh Boyer has made his way back up into 7th. Mark DeSenza up into 6th. After their incident, you see further on back Ricky Bumblo to the inside of Hinsky in the 14. Not able to get anything going that time by. Kind of closing in on 20 laps to go here from Dover. Oh, 62 locked up the brakes going into the corner there. Haven't seen that tonight. Up front, Steve Rubino closing in on Stakanis for 3rd. DeSenza lighting up the tailgate of Duke Sorensen for 5th.
Yeah, DeSenza really's got to get a move on. He's going to get pressure here from Josh Boyer. He's been looking at him now.
Ooh, he got so close that time through the corner. Boyer gets close to him. Now, That was your classic accordion effect there through 3 and 4 that time, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You saw DeCenza get close on Duke Sorensen's rear bumper there, had to back off. Then Josh Boyer got close to DeCenza's rear bumper. He had to back off. Thankfully, there was enough of a gap there back to Rich Nappick. He didn't get as close before he had to back off.
That was definitely not one of those if-gap car moments.
No, there's not too many of those here at Dover. If a driver's leaving you a gap, you're going to know it well before.
Oh, close that time. That wasn't a dive bomb. That was DeCenza just, yeah, I guess, sending it down into turn number 1. Now Boyer to the inside of the 33 down the back.
Well, if you're DeCenza, it was time to go.
He got the apron.
You see Josh Boyer is putting the pressure on.
All this 19 laps to go, so 19 more miles to try to advance your position. DeCenza closing in on Steve Rubino now for 4th, holding off Josh Boyer for the time being.
We're taking a peek.
One up on lap traffic, that's Rod Weston in the 19. See if he throws a monkey wrench in this plan. Senza getting a good run this time off of turn number 4. Thought about taking the momentum, didn't get enough of it off the corner to get to the inside of the 07 to Steve Rubino.
He's definitely been looking. He's been hooking that bottom these past couple laps, getting good runs off the corner. Went towards the back, get a little bit of that wall off too.
Looks a little quicker right now too, doesn't he?
33 is really coming alive.
Oh, 43 slow on the front straightaway. Almost contact there between the 41 and 33. Oh, 07 around.
That is going to bring out the caution here.
Tom Musa went hard into the outside wall off of 2 trying to avoid Rubino, and the 07 parked on the back straightaway. The night will be over for Steve Rubino.
It's a shame. Had a really good run going there.
Well, push starts to come to shove. Really, this happens with cars getting bottlenecked on the entry of 1. The 33 gets barely to the inside. 07 doesn't think he's there.
One of those things, the field got checked up there by that lap car. 33 of Mark DeCenza. He saw that bottom open up and thought this was his time. You know, maybe Steve Rubino was thinking, nah, he ain't going to make that move on me here. And sure enough, he had just the slightest nose on him there through turns 2 and ended up getting turned around.
Unfortunate end to the night for Steve Rubino, like you said, running so strong up inside the top 5.
Yeah, one of those guys like Harry Kodian even seemed to play that first half of the race really conservative, you know, saved their stuff and really came alive towards the end of that race, was running in a nice top 5 position there.
See what happened with this 43, because he is slow. Really slow down the front straightaway. There's actually an incident lap before between the 43 and 62. No caution thrown because the 43 is kind of all out back by himself. Goes around for a spin. It's Mopar in that STP Dodge, but he's slow as the leaders are coming back around.
Yeah, it's a tough situation there. He just got it back straight there. He was holding it up top where he could, but it's kind of hard to see if you're that third, second truck line there.
Well, going back green with about 10 laps to go kind of changes the race dynamic, doesn't it? You got to get a good restart. If there is a gap, if there is a way to make a pass, you got to make it quick.
Absolutely. We've seen some hard charges here late. They're going to have to be making those moves really quickly. They lost a lot of racing time through this yellow.
Oh, this is our last chance to remind you folks at home. We got some more great races coming up here on JTN later on this week, including tomorrow night with the TMP Late Model Series Championship race from out in Phoenix, 8:50 p.m. Eastern Time for that one. Gonna be a fun show, Weaver. We're gonna hop on that Cessna to get out there, because we did have to kind of fly a little cheap this time. But coverage beginning at 8:50 p.m. Eastern Time, again, tomorrow night, Monday, March 28th. Then it's the Maverick Cup Series Race 2 of Season 2 from Atlanta on Tuesday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And then Wednesday night, All-Star Racing Cup Series action from Texas at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Those 3 races and much, much more live this week on JTN.
Joe, if you're looking to save some money on flights, you shouldn't just ask. I got a couple, a handful of flight hours on the Microsoft Flight Sim. I'm sure I could get us there in one piece.
While I have a lot of faith in your abilities to fly in Microsoft Flight Sim, I do think air traffic control might have some worries.
What they don't know won't hurt them.
Getting ready to go back green. Herman Reese, Harry Cody, and Jeff Stukenis, Mark Desenza, Josh Boyer, your top 5 for this restart, coming at you with 11 laps to go when we go back green. It's going to be a quick dash to the finish here. Can Herman Reese hold them off, Weaver?
It's going to be tough. He's got a hard charging group behind him. Take a look at any of these 4 trucks behind him.
Herman Reese has been the class of the field tonight all by his lonesome. Can he get the victory here tonight? Green flag, we're back underway, 11 to go. Wheel spin from the 73. Harry Cody in, looking to get a run down into 1. Oh, and the 13's going to get loose, drift up the track. Going to lose 2, 3, 4, 5 positions now down the back.
Flare out down the backstretch. Going to get it down to 2 wide there, almost 3.
Rich Napick now looking to the inside, this time at the line. It's our TWB 10 to go. Head on over to GardenLightStrek.com, because from porches to patios and more, they got all your outdoor lighting needs covered. Again, that's GardenLightStrek.com. Here on your TWB 10 to go, 33 going for a spin down the back. What was that saying? Cautions breed cautions?
Yeah, it looked like 33 there. Got a little loose. Tried to save it.
So we race back to the line. Herman Reese, of course, got across first, way out in front of the rest of the field. Saw a couple drag races for position. Let's get you the replay of the incident. That brings out this yellow with under 10 laps to go. Mark Desenza had a very good truck here tonight. Had a good race going, but it ends in misfortune. Did that old, went from the high side to the low side, lost the truck, right?
Yeah, it's a tough one there. You down low, and you see you got on the apron there, but you do have to get back up pretty quick, because that apron gets taken away from you, like we were talking earlier, by that inside wall out of 2. Nowhere for Boyer to go.
Well, this race has been wild here tonight, folks. Going to be going back green, probably about 5 laps to go. Herman Reese going to have to hold off this field 5 more times. Has done a great job on the restarts. The last one was probably his worst of the night, Weaver. I mean, what do you tell your driver in that case? What do you do behind the wheel? You just got to kind of shake it off, right? That one was an outlier. This next one's going to be just as good as the rest, right? That's what you got to be thinking.
Yeah, I'm getting on the radio. I'm telling him you had about 6, 7 good ones tonight. That whatever you did on that last one, don't do it again, because we cannot afford to be making mistakes here. He caught a break there with the 13, got loose, kind of opened up a gap for him after that restart, but you can't count on something like that happening every time. Also, just wanted to point out, kind of mired back in the field now again because of that last caution in the racing back, but Ricky Bumbalo had done a good job driving back up through the field. He was on the back end of Josh Boyer there. We saw he was running up front, but then had some issues in the middle part of the race.
Ugh. Weaver, Weaver, Weaver. Why do they gotta make these things dramatic at the end? Why do race car drivers do this?
They know what sells.
They say they hate it, but I think they love it.
Absolutely.
So Herman Reese going to have control here on the restart. Again, probably going back green with 5 laps to go. We'll see if the lights go off this time at the line. That 73 truck will have control, folks. Make sure if you haven't already, you drop a like on the video and subscribe to us here on JTN. We got all kinds of great live racing coming at you this week. It's going to be a great time. Again, make sure you're tuning in right here on the JoeTowNetwork, JTN. And be a friend, tell a friend, folks. Be a friend, tell a friend.
They also had 9 of Jeff Fugate back up into the top 5 after his wreck from second place earlier. May not hold true for that first position, but there have definitely been some comers and goers tonight.
I mean, there's been one guy out front, right? And everyone else has kind of been rotating throughout the rest of the top 5. So we line up like this. Herman Reese, Jeff Stukenis, Josh Boyer. That's your top 3 for this restart with 5 laps to go. And it's Rich Knappich in the 6 and Jeff Fugate in the 9, rounding out your top 5. Duke Sorensen, Ryan Johnson, DJ Hinsky, Tom Musa, and Mike Halgrimson in the 62, your top 10. Herman Reese with control. Hope this will be the last time he sees the green flag tonight. Back down and away we go. Green flag once again here from Dover. Good restart from the 31. He's closing the gap down into 1.
Oh, awful restart for Rich Knappich there. Looks like he got on the wall a little bit even.
Gonna lose 3 spots off the restart, off the jump. Gets into the wall again, coming off the corner. Now Josh Boyer heating up the tailgate of Jeff Stukenis in the 31 for second.
Herman Reese, you love the sound of that. These guys behind me battle it out.
Duke Sorensen looking for a move to the inside of the 9 of Jeff Fugate. Fugate was looking for a move to the inside of Josh Boyer for third. Boyer washes up the track in that position. Herman Reese still out in front as Jeff Stukenis, Josh Boyer both get into the wall off of 2. Duke Sorensen to the inside, going to move up into 4th. As Josh Boyer looks for second to the inside of Stukenis, not going to be able to get the nose inside this time. 3 to go. As Sorensen now inside in the 59, he gets the apron, washes up the track. Battle for second, drag race down the back into 3.
Josh Boyer going to send it low here.
Stukenis going to start falling back. Herman Reese loves what he's seeing in his mirror, loves the fact that there's 2 laps to go here from Dover. That 73 still well out in front of this field. Ryan Johnson now going on by the 31. Like you said, Weaver, you just get stuck in that outside line and you are falling like a rock.
It's very tough to recover once you get out there. You want to get down low as soon as you can. Any gap you can find, you want to duck low. Sorensen here going to look to the inside of Boyer, give him a peek, give him something to think about going into 1 there.
White flag is in the air. This is our final lap. Herman Reese still out in front. Josh Boyer second. Duke Sorensen back in 3rd. Coming off of turn number 4, the guy that's dominated the race, he'll win it. Herman Reese takes the checkered flag from Dover. A flag-to-flag beatdown from the 73 Cadillac Racing team of Herman Reese.
An incredible race and an incredible performance there by Herman Reese, leading essentially flag to flag.
What a race, what a finish for driver number 73. Herman Reese burns it down here from Dover. Thank you, folks. We appreciate you tuning in here tonight. If this is where you leave us, make sure before you go, you drop a like on the video. Again, it does so much to help support us. We love seeing it. Helps us know that we're doing good. And remember, we're always open to those comments and suggestions about how we can make these broadcasts even better for you at home. Herman Reese burns it down. He'll take it into victory lane. We'll move on to our post-race coverage here on JT and get those results on your screens momentarily. Herman Reese, Josh Boyer, Duke Sorensen in your top three. We'll talk with all three of them here in mere moments. Weaver, I mean, if you had to sum up that race, this is always my favorite game to play. Sum up the race for me, broadcast partner. How would you do it?
If I were to choose one word, I'd say that was Dover.
That is definitely on brand for you.
Yeah, we saw Herman Reese with an incredible performance. He's going to be the only one happy with Miles tonight because I believe Miles had a hand in taking out quite a few of our front runners tonight, and some towards the back. Even we've seen some people have trouble. Saw Ricky Bumbalo, I believe he was able to come back up there and get a decent finish out of it after coming, from the front to the back to the front, and back to the back again there before the finish.
So results now on your screen. We'll wait for those folks to come into our media center, but once again, cannot thank you enough for tuning into JTN's coverage tonight of the Hobo Racing Truck Series from Dover. It was a spectacular event. Be a friend, tell a friend about our streams here on JTN. We're going to first bring in driver of the number 41 Rocky Boots Ford, Josh Boyer. Josh, you got a copy?
A 10-4, sir.
Well. That was a up and down night for you and that 41 team, involved in an incident about halfway into this race. Take us through the rebound to finish up here in the second position.
Good call by the crew chief there to bring us in there. I don't know, about 15 laps to go or so, 20 laps to go for tires. Put us in a good spot. I wish we had more green there at the end. I think we had the opportunity to win tonight. Just couldn't quite get there at the end, but good run for us. Happy with the top three finish.
We saw early on in the race, it seemed like you were struggling a little bit on the restarts. Is there anything you'd like to share about that? Any indication of why that was? Because it seems like you were just maybe not being able to get on the gas as quick as everyone else.
Yeah, I mean, definitely it's slick on the restarts here, and it always is. You're actually starting a second gear, and if you have any laps on the tires at all, you're definitely treading on some very very careful waters there. But I've also got a new wheel and setup here today, so I was a little more probably tentative than normal. Brand new setup here, just came in yesterday, so a little bit tentative on that just to make sure I don't screw up. But it ended up working out, I think, because usually I was able to catch back up within a lap or two, it felt like. So it worked out.
Mind sharing what you got?
Yeah, so I got the CSL direct drive, with the 8 nanometer whatever M thing, and new wheel, new pedals, the whole 9 yards, man. I got the whole new kit here, and just kind of finding my groove with it right now.
And one last question about that. It's going to do you pretty good tomorrow night with the late models at Phoenix, right, with TMP?
I hope so. The thing about it is the braking is so different with these pedals, these V3s here. Today we didn't have to brake too much here at Dover. You just sometimes touch the brakes to set it a little bit in the corner. But so short track will be very different. So I'm going to make sure to get a lot of laps in tonight and tomorrow and practice up for that one.
Well, Josh, as always, thank you for taking the time to talk with us. But before we let you go, you're the pro. Floor is yours, buddy. You know what to do.
Yeah, first things first, thanks to Rocky Boots, local here to Southeast Ohio and the Rocky Boot brand, and always happy to put them on in the top three here for you guys. And thanks again to Hobo and Steve and all the guys. Love racing with these guys all the time. Good group of guys, and thanks for the the spousal support as always, who lets me come down here and do these things on a almost nightly basis.
Well, Josh, once again, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us. And again, congratulations on the second place finish here tonight, and good luck tomorrow night with those late models.
Thank you, sir. Take care, guys.
Josh Boyer, driver the number 41, Rocky Boots Ford, your second place finisher tonight from Dover. Let's go ahead and next bring in our race winner. He's the driver of the number 73 Cadillac. He led 116 of 120 laps. Herman, does that sound right?
Yeah, oh man, I can't believe how did I lose those 4 laps? Those guys getting those lady laps, the Dave Marcus deals.
Herman Reese, driving the number 73 Cadillac, your winner here tonight. Herman, we can talk about the flag-to-flag domination. We can talk about all these things, but this is what we've come to expect out of you in this 73 team. How good does it feel to kind of dominate a race like this? I know cautions and all that, and you can talk about, laps led under caution, but really, when the green flag dropped, you were out in front by 2, 3, 4 truck lengths by the time we came back around to complete that first lap.
Yeah, the thing, everybody was complaining tight, and I was loose I was just neutral. Even that long run we had, when I was pulling away, my truck really didn't fall off like everybody else's. As a matter of fact, the worst it was those last 5 laps, and that almost cost me. I thought, what a shame if I give it up after that. Yeah, it was quite frankly, it was kind of boring being up there. I didn't see anybody, and the 9 had got a big run at one point, and then he got loose and spun, and the 33 came on that long run. Him and I broke away from the pack there, and I kind of thought he might have a shot, and then he had his troubles. And I'll tell you, Elvis is the king of music, and Richard's the king of NASCAR, but Keith McLean is the king of Dover. And when you can beat him on a night like this, you've done some good. And I was driving away from him, so it felt pretty good.
Well, driving away from Keith, driving away from the rest of the field, when you have those guys, though, kind of closing the gap on you as those runs went on, how do you reset behind the? Is there anything you do to kind of reset behind the wheel to set yourself up? Do you tell yourself take it easy? Like what goes through your mind when all of a sudden those guys start getting those big runs on you, start closing that gap out of nowhere?
Well, you just got to be disciplined at this track and know that the end result is to keep maintaining your pace and not get excited and overdrive the corners and then burn your stuff up. Because what I watched happen is they drove to me and they pushed the issue. Next thing you know, they were falling back because they overdrove. Keith even said it to me. Said all of a sudden his truck wouldn't turn anymore. So it's hard to do. You can't watch the mirror. You just got to run your line. And I got to tell you, in the truck series, it is so much easier to have the first starting position and being able to dictate the pace. That's where I helped. I mean, Josh tonight, Josh just broke out a new wheel, a new system for him. And he comes home second qualifying after having an issue early in the race. It's a great comeback. I mean, we had so much fun tonight. I don't know what it looked like to the viewers, but we were laughing and cutting up the whole time. And there was some really good racing during that middle of the race. I didn't see any of it, but I heard.
It was definitely a great race when we had those longer runs. You kind of saw guys having to work the tires, work the lines maybe a little bit too, because there's a little bit of different lines that you can take throughout the corners, even though we're kind of all bottom feeding here at Dover. But Herman, you were the best of the best tonight. Congratulations once again on the victory. You get the Miles the Monster trophy. I don't know if they got the diecast already ready for you with the 73 team. I know you've run this paint scheme for a while, so I figured they would. But before we let you go, the floor is yours. You know what to do.
Yeah, thank you. First, I want to apologize for, to my sponsors and team for not leading those other 4 laps. But I thank Hobo guys, the Bino brothers. You see, once again, Steve goes ahead and starts that new streak of not finishing races. And, go get him, Steve. I know you can break it this time. And thank you guys for coming out. And I see we had a new guy, Weaver, tonight. Come out and do some help us with the announcing and putting on the show for the people and the race car guys. The Hobo Racing League. We have a lot of fun and enjoy seeing these guys a couple times a week. And thank you for everything you do for us. And hopefully I get to talk to you in this position again shortly.
Hey, you've been popping up on more and more of these streams. I think eventually you're gonna get. You're so good. You're going to keep popping up on these streams more and more on the track, and then after the race. Herman, once again, congratulations on the victory here tonight, and thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us.
All right, thank you guys. You have a good night.
Herman Reese, driver of the number 73 Cadillac, your winner here tonight from Dover. We now bring in third place. He rounds out the podium. He started 15th. He's your hard charger for the night. Driver the number 59, Duke Sorensen. Duke, do you got a copy?
Yes. Hey, Joe. Thanks for putting this thing on.
Hey, heck yeah. I mean, thanks to you for, driving up through that field like a madman there at the end of the race. Take us through it, because you and that 59 were able to kind of cut your way up through the field a lot better than a lot of these other drivers tonight.
Well, I had new tires. That was the number one thing. That kind of took a lot of the guys that were in front of me out of play because they didn't have that. I thought maybe I was going to get to second there, but Josh and they just got in there and kind of got side by side. I didn't want to wreck anybody.
Mm-hmm. Well, this race tonight, we saw those cautions throughout the field, but it was a lot of really close racing. How do you manage that behind the wheel? Because here at Dover, when we race close like that, this track is so weird. It's so finicky sometimes with the way maybe you clip the apron a little bit, you run the line just a little bit off. The truck likes to slide up the track, slide down the track. How do you manage racing so close with people and being able to race your way up and down the field?
Yeah, I don't know. After about the 100th time running this track, I kind of got it dialed in finally, but most of the time I don't have a good enough setup to do what I did. So those guys up front, they're pretty good. And if you hit that apron, you're bad. And then if another spot where he comes off of turn one there, you'll duck down and she'll get really loose on you there in a couple of spots.
Well, Duke, you managed this race so well. Again, starting 15th and driving up to third with the way the cautions kind of fell tonight with those long green flag runs, able to march your way through the new tires, of course. Obviously, a great call by you to come down the pit lane. Once again, congratulations on the third place finish. But before we let you go, the floor is yours. Family, friends, sponsors, folks here at Hobo, whoever you got to shout out, the floor is yours to do so, buddy.
Well, I want to thank my family members, and then I want to thank my son for sponsoring my 59 Chevy with Flagro. He's been my sponsor ever since I started racing. And I want to thank Bino and Steve. I mean, they're the ones that are holding this thing all together, and they're doing a darn good job of it. So we're just here to run behind them and try to support them whenever we can.
Duke, a fantastic job here tonight. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us. And once again, congratulations on the podium finish here tonight. Here's to more of these to come and more times talking with you, buddy. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us.
Well, I hope so. We'll talk to you later.
Duke Sorensen, driver of the number 59 Flagro Chevrolet, your third place finisher here tonight. Weaver, you know, those are three of the coolest guys that we get to talk. We always get to talk to all the cool folks here at Hobo. It's always fun to talk with them after the race, and you even got a shout out, which I know made you probably feel pretty good too. So what more can you say about Hobo Racing? Some great racing here tonight from Dover.
Yeah, you know, Joe, I usually let you take the reins with the questions there, so it always feels good when my presence is acknowledged here in the room. Big fan of that. And like you said, great group of guys here at Hobo. I know a bunch of them from some other leagues that we broadcast, TMP and the sort. Can't say enough about this group of guys, and I'm sure the audience can see that with the type of racing they put on. You can tell the respect is there on the track.
A lot of respect on the track, off the track. These folks here at Hobo are great. Remember, you can go to hoboracing.com to find out more about Hobo Racing. You can get all the tracks, all the mods, the car files and whatnot that they run here at Hobo, and you can also find out how to sign up with the boys here at Hobo Racing. Some of the best racing on the web happens at Hobo. With all that being said, though, folks, can't thank you enough for tuning in here tonight to JTN's coverage of the Hobo Racing Truck Series from Dover. Be a friend, tell a friend about our broadcast. We got a couple new subscribers in here. Can't thank you enough for tuning in. It's always fun to see you guys tuning in, telling us when it's your first time watching, that whole first time caller, long time listening thing's always kind of cool, right, Weaver? But can't thank you folks at home enough for tuning in here tonight from Dover. Our next time we're going to be live again tomorrow night, 8:50 p.m. Eastern time. TMP late models from Phoenix. Going to be a good one there to crown their late model champion. Gonna be an interesting battle for that title, and it kicks off the 3-week championship with the TMP and ASRA combined title. With all that being said, though, folks, for all of us here at JTN, for Bristol, our producer, for Joseph Weaver, I've been Joe Twansky. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you guys next time live right here on JTN. So long for now, folks. Yeah, and they're gonna be 3 wide coming to the checker. Never mind, they're gonna be... Oh! Turn 4 into the trial with Whitehill and through the grass. It's going to be Noah Joyce winning his first career race in the Red Bull Cup Series.
Off the line and they're wrecking behind him. You have cars flying everywhere. Cars upside down. It doesn't matter. Noah Joyce has done it. He's won at Daytona in the 3 car.
Behind, they're going to be side by side again. Contact there between Sinner and Gordo for
Oh, the contact! Oakley into the wall. That's going to be Jack Healy coming to the line.